Yeah, 98, y'all.
What's up, everybody? You join me here on the Curtis Zone, and I do nothing but thank you. I'm your host, Dylan J. Curtis, and as you can see, my bouncing pecs are very happy because today we are doing another episode on Bionicle. We have asked ourselves, who's your favorite team of Toa? And more importantly, who's your favorite villains for the Toa? Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget to bounce your pecs too while you hit that like and subscribe button. The first piece of news is from the upcoming world of movies. It has been told that a new Darkman movie will be being put together right now. It's currently in its pre-production process, meaning its casting process, and the heads and the studio that's putting it together, they're thinking of casting either Jake Gyllenhaal or Henry Cavill as Darkman. I think that would be a great idea. However, that is just me talking. Speaking of Henry Cavill, some new images have been put together for him on set of the new Highlander movie, which is set to release sometime either this year or next year. Personally, I can't wait because he has done such a great job as in the world of acting from Man of Steel, and he's gonna be in the new Voltron. So let's see what he's got, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see him very soon. The final piece of news I want to talk about is from Riverdale star Madeline Patch. She has been approached by both Marvel and DC to play one of two characters, either Jean Grey or Poison Ivy. Personally, I wanted to play Poison Ivy because I love that red hair. I mean, come on, who would want to see her play Poison Ivy? Now let's get started with this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We've asked ourselves, who's your favorite team of Toa from Bionicle? I'm going to start by talking about all the Toa, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about their villains. I'm going to tell you about their evolution throughout the years, and then I will end it all by telling you who my favorite team of Toa is. Don't be shy to get in that comment section down below and tell me who your favorite team of Toa is. Don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started. And remember, like and subscribe. Now, the first team of Toa will come out in 2000. They will be known as the Toa Mata. The Toa Mata, who were the first team of Toa to ever be introduced in the early 2000s. The team consisted of Tahu Toa of fire, Gali Toa of water, Pohata Toa of stone, Onua Toa of earth, Liwa Toa of air, and Kopaka Toa of ice. Now, the design of these Toa, they look more like wizards than warriors, which was pretty cool. But they were both in both the comic books and in the lore. However, this team of Toa would transform into the Toa Nuva. This would give them new masks and new armor and dual action weaponry, which was pretty cool, my friends. You see, the Toa Mata and the Toa Nuva, they fought against the enemies known as the Borak, the Borakal, and the Rakshi. The Rakshi, which were giant snakes, and the Borak, who would always take away the mass of people in order to take over their bodies. I thought that was pretty cool. That's just me talking. The next team of Toa we're going to talk about is the Toa Metru. The Toa Metru consisted of Vakama Toa of fire, Nokama Toa of water, Matua Toa of air, Naji Toa of ice, Anua Toa of stone, and Wenua Toa of earth. The Toa Metru were very stronger. They were actually came before the Toa Nuva in the Bionicle Chronicles. However, that was just rumor. That was just rumor, though. However, the Toa Metru were very powerful, very cool, and very agile type of Toa with two weapons instead of one. Some of them had two, some of them had one. It was awesome to see it. Now, the Toa Metru would be transformed after being caught in the Visorak web, and they would become the Toa Hordika. They would be turned into monstrous versions of themselves and have to fight the Visorak army and with their queen, Udaka. This was pretty cool, my friends. I loved it. I don't know about you guys. I loved it. After the Toa Metru and the Toa Hordika, there would come the Toa Inika. The Toa Inika and the Toa Mari. The Toa Inika came before the Toa Mari because the Toa Inika were on land, whereas the Toa Mari were under the sea. The Toa Inika consisted of Jaller, Toa of fire, Hali, Toa of water, Kongu, Toa of air, Hikiu, Toa of stone, Nupara, Toa of Earth, and Montoro, Toa of Ice. The Toa Indica were actually pretty strong. Were actually pretty cool. Not only did they have light up laser weapons, they also had something called the Kordek Blaster, which basically blasted energy balls at their enemies. They would be fighting against a gang known as the Paraka. I mean, does anybody else remember the Paraka rap? That was pretty cool. The Paraka rap. That was pretty cool. Anyway, the Toa Indica will be transformed into the Toa Mari after going under the sea to continue to look for the Mask of Life. They would go under the sea and they would fight new enemies, and this would include the undersea monsters whose names I'm not even going to try to butcher, people. The next team of Toa were the Mystica Toa, which were all airborne Toas. The Toas that were always flying throughout the swamps of Cardanui in order to find the Keystones. The Keystones which activated the legendary new battlecraft, Bionicle battlecraft, which was so cool to see. They were basically airborne weaponry. I loved it because the Mystica, they were not only flying Toa, they also had all their Toa abilities. It was cool. Next, we're going to talk about the Glatorian Bionicle. The Glatorian Bionicle, who were basically gladiators, okay? And when the story about them is basically the origin of Matanui, when he would land on a windswept desert world, and Glatorian legends would be born. Okay, at least that's what the commercial said. Anyway, he would create weapons and he would turn people's weapons into different versions of weapons using his legendary Mask of Life, and he would do so in order to create the first team of Toa, the Glatorians, the Glatorian Toa. I'm not even going to try and butcher their names, but I do know that they were pretty awesome to see. That's just me talking, though. Not only with their weapons, but also with their vehicles and their powers. Yeah, that's how cool they were. Now we're going to talk about the Bionicle Stars. Now, here's the thing about the Bionicle Stars. I know that they don't necessarily count as Toa, but they still count. There were only 3 of them, but these 3 legendary warriors were fighting against 3 other legendary villains who are looking for the legendary Golden Armor. The Golden Armor, which makes the bearer invincible. And increases their power at least 1,000,000 times fold. They're going to try and butcher their names because I didn't know them, but I do know that they were pretty awesome. Now, finally, the last one we're going to talk about is from the 2015-2016 Bionicle series, which was on Netflix. It was the return of the Toa Mata / Toa Nuva, and it was a new version of them. They had new armor, new weapons, and the new elemental creatures. Click the creatures of the heroes back to unlock new powers that they had. These elemental creatures and these new Bionicles were fighting over the legendary Golden Mask of Control. The mask which gave the Dark Hunter the ability to control an army of evil skull spiders and try to take over the world of Matanui. However, this was not going to happen on their watch. Come on, who thought that was awesome? Just me? I gotta say, my favorite team of Toa, I'm gonna go with the Toa Nuva. Not the 2015-2016 version, the original Toa Nuva. I love the armor that they had. I love the story from the Mask of Light, and I loved everything about their weapons and powers. Which dual action weaponry, it was awesome to see it. I mean, come on, that's just me talking. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but that's just me talking. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Curtis Zone, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. And just remember, getting that like and subscribe button and punch them up for me, while at the same time getting that comment section down below and tell me what your favorite team of Toa is. Don't be shy, everybody. Let's really get into the conversation. I hope to see you guys soon. Alright? Peace. And remember, next episode's going to be pretty awesome. I hope that everybody's ready for it. Peace.